Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope all is well with you and yours. What's good, what's good, what's good? So we've actually got a lot going on today. We've got like 16 points to get through. Tonight's question. This is an important one. It's not a political one. Do you think the tariff announcements were worth it? Before you answer that question, you should really go do some research on everything that's going on. Shikuzaya, what's going on? Hutanik, what's going on? It was leverage liquidations by greedy fools that start the uptrend. I'm laughing because, that was a good one, though. What's going on, Hutanik? What's good, what's good, what's good? So I asked that question, do you think the tariff announcements were worth it? Because, and it's yes, no, other. And if it's other, let me know in the comments. And by the way, folks, when we launch the new platform, don't forget, the only place where you'll be able to leave comments and actually join in on the conversation is going to be growmybag.tv. We've made that final decision, and we're looking forward to it. We really, really are. You should look into it because you want to understand what the trade deficit actually is between us, Canada, China, Mexico. And on one hand, I think calling them out for those particular things, okay, good reason. So I'm not all too mad about it. I think that things could have happened behind the scenes without making such a broad scope announcement, dropping markets. It's crazy. AC Power was good. Paula, how are you? So, I just think there are better ways to do things. Everything with this regime seems to be, cause chaos, cause a ruckus, and then everything will work out. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, so the whole world saw you scream, and now you're screaming against, Europe. That's not always a playbook that's going to work. And I think the reason why I brought this up is because I think that there's going to be a big amount. I think there's going to be a big amount of people that are starting to go, there's a reason to get into crypto. So, Michael McCaskill, you think you got jokes. Go Fatima, how are you? So I can't wait till we're all on a single platform because it'll make it so much easier to keep track of all the conversations that go on and everything else. So I think it's going to be really, really good. But so much going on with the tariffs, and I just sat there and I was like, but there's so much else going on, but it's all going to affect our bag. I got a disturbing call from my brother, and he was like, yo, I need to open up, Max Salas, what's going on? I need to open up a bank account. Where? And I said, pick one. I mean, the United States has a lot. He goes, outside the United States. And then I asked the obvious question, are you in trouble? Because as big brother, the first thing is I'm going to slap the nonsense out of him if he got in trouble, right? But he was like, no, of course not, I'm not in trouble. I was like, okay, cool. So why outside the United States? And he goes, I think the FDIC is going to get wrecked. And I sat back, and it wasn't that long ago before myself and another big bagger were speaking, and he said, listen, it used to be that the FDIC backed you up $250,000 per account. Now it's only per bank. So it's already taken a hit. It's already taken a hit. And I'm like, oh. So I asked him a big question. I said, listen, why do you believe in the US dollar, but you're not really deep into crypto? And he goes, it's a trust thing. And I said, it's a trust thing. I said, okay, I can understand that. I said, but let me ask you another question. He goes, what? I said, do you think BlackRock is a strong company? He goes, yeah, of course. Fidelity. Yeah, of course. Galaxy Digital. Yeah, of course. Bitwise. Yeah, of course. 50,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong. And he looked at me and I was like, you're afraid of losing, insurance in your bank account, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, and people often cry that there's no insurance in crypto, right? He goes, yeah. I said, what backs the US dollar? And he goes, the government. I said, what backs the US dollar? And he looked at me. I said, well, we have a habit, nations around the world, we have a habit of printing money. And that brings down your value and the value of the dollar that's in your pocket or the fiat that's in your pocket. So why aren't you going after crypto? And he sat there and he was like, I shall have to ponder. I mean, the dollar's not backed by anything. In the 70s, Nixon he decoupled the dollar from gold because people were coming in and saying, give me gold, please. Give me gold, please. And so gold was diminishing and they were like, oh no, we can't have that. So he severed those ties with gold. Ever since then, it's been a wink and a handshake. That's what backs the dollar. So when I look at people and they go, I don't trust it's out of thin air. And I'm sitting there and I'm just going, okay, it's out of thin air. And then I asked them the same question. What backs the US dollar? And they all have to clear their throat and think about it, and they don't have an answer. I just think it's funny. FDIC has $700 billion in reserves to back $11 trillion in deposits. That is not insurance. That is insolvency. Bam! So, Lucky Luke, how are you? And thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. I love this community too. So I sit there and I just look at this and I just kind of go, you got to think about that, right? You got to think about held for review. Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, cool. Yeah, no. No, we're gonna have to remove that because that's not a good thing. Um, that's the second time. Please don't do that again. The name of the show is Grow My Bag, not anything else. Okay? Thank you. So I'm looking at it and I'm just looking in terms of what's the overall kind of feel to Hutanic, don't say anything because I know what you're thinking. What's the overall look and feel on the economic impacts of everything? And I mean look and feel. How does the economy look and how does the economy feel? Right? Which is why I asked the question tonight, were the tariff announcements worth it? Right? Because what else happened while the tariffs were announced? And it's been all over the news. I think the tariffs were announced so that they could try to do this under the covers. You have a whole lot of people. I'm from Canada. I do not understand. You said you liked the show, but you put another word in front of bag, and it was inappropriate for people that, you know what I mean? It was that. I just can't. So I've been looking at, how does it feel? Well, it feels it looks like we have a strong economy. It feels painful because, somebody called me up and they're like, yo, do you know that eggs in the Bronx are like $7 for a dozen? And I was like, what? $7 for a dozen. Now, this happened for many reasons. One of them was a lot of chickens had to be laid to rest. Why? Disease. And we forgot about that. It was a couple of months ago. We forgot about that. So it takes time to actually raise chickens that, to get to egg ready, right? Egg production ready. So I'm wondering, well, what is it going to be like in 3 months, 4 months? Are egg prices going to come down? New regime has already said I can't do anything about your grocery bills. Really? Oh, okay. I know a lot of people with chicken coops now. I really do. I really know a lot of people with chicken coops now. Like they saw it coming. They just kept seeing literally egg prices go up, and they were like, I'm gonna get down with that chicken coop thing. And I was just like, really? They're all laughing at me now. They're all laughing. Every single one of them. I was like, dang. I know a guy who he works for, is it Bloomberg? I forgot which one of the financial organizations he works for. I'm not going to say his name. But he and I would joke about his chicken coop. He's got a really fancy schmancy chicken coop. And when I say fancy, I mean fancy. Middle of the winter, these birds are toasty. They're warm as hell. And he doesn't have to walk that far to get to the coop. And he like built it and heated it and just everything that you could possibly think of for this coop. And I was just like, damn. But he's got eggs that he doesn't have to pay for. He's giddy. He's giddy. I picked on one hand, the EU and the UK are talking about putting more of their money into Ukraine. On the other hand, inflation is going to skyrocket and not come down. Inflation it's not coming down. Everybody's printing money. The more money you print, the more inflation goes up. I'm telling you that class by Ray Dalio, I call it a class because that's what that video is. It tells you a lot and it puts it in simple terms. It's really, really good. I've watched it like 2 or 3 times already. It's just that good. It's almost like if there was no income tax, it would be fine. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. If we collected income tax from those that actually have and those that are not paying, then it would be fine. Right? If there were no income tax, how does the government make money? How does the government support its people? For us to get out of this, there's going to have to be a certain amount of austerity. And I think the people that have to feel the austerity the most is the government and the rich and the wealthy. Because they'll never feel it. They'll never feel it. Anyway, Bitcoin and XRP lead a $527 million crypto inflow recovery despite all the volatility. That was good news. India tightens crypto tax rules while still reconsidering the broader idea or broader policy for crypto. That's big. Excuse me. I told you about a province in India that's actually going to build out a blockchain and Web3 hub. And they plan on employing about 1,800 people. Told you about upskilling. Pay attention. It's no joke. Then you've got Ethereum active addresses drop to year-to-date low. Okay. Active addresses. Those addresses are still there. They're just not active. And I'm kind of like, that's a really good number. What does that mean? I bought some, I held, and I left it there, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm not adding. I'm not subtracting. Whatever's there is there. Okay. Doesn't really mean a lot. Arthur Hayes, BitMEX CEO, predicts, Bitcoin will hit $1 million due to weak dollar and money printing. A lot of people are getting on that bandwagon. I don't think it's going to hit $1 million, but a lot of people are getting on that bandwagon. But you have to kind of think about this. It's not just about Bitcoin going up. It's also about the value of a dollar. So hence the number goes up. You know what I mean? So there's an effect. There's a cause and effect there. Coinbase becomes the UK's largest registered crypto service provider. MicroStrategy paused its Bitcoin buying spree after 3 months. I mean, they own a lot of Bitcoin, but I am wondering what drove them to do that. It's just interesting. It's an interesting move that's what they did. Yo, Fultz, what's going on? So what else is there? Bybit CEO estimates $10 billion in total liquidations amid crypto market swings. I mean, TVL dropped total value locked for on DeFi Llama dropped like what, 15 billion? It's going to be interesting to see who went on a buying spree today. That's really what I'm wondering. And I won't know we won't know until tomorrow. That's when everybody comes out with numbers and stuff like that. We'll probably find out tomorrow. Ton Ecosystem expands with $100 million investment fund from TVM Ventures, meaning build on here. Right? Go Fatima did. That's awesome. Have you done your 15 minutes worth of homework today? Please drop it in the comments and let me know if you've done it. It's a big deal. Thank you, Paula, because you knew I was going to ask the question. You knew that was coming. You did your research. Go Fatima, did you? You had to have. If you bought on the dip, you had to have done some research. Could it be stateless? Then I agree with income tax. Currency should be stateless. Levy taxes at the point of sale. That would be constitutional. Interesting. Rick Ritchie did his research. I think that would be a longer conversation, Hutanik. I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. But I think it would be a longer conversation. That's what makes it hard. You've got to, if you do this, then this happens. If you do this, then that happens. There are a whole bunch of things that go on. But let me get to the news. Let me get through the news. Alabama seeks to become a blockchain-friendly state because it's positioning itself to be that. You want to know who might be the first state to actually have a Bitcoin reserve? Utah. Apparently, their infrastructure moves faster than other states. That could be a really big deal. 8Pause, thank you for letting us know. And hello. Thank you for letting us know. Yes, sir, and hello. What's up, Leroy? We're just talking about you today. We're looking at all the members and everything. Because we've got a... So Andrew is a big bagger, but he joined up over on YouTube, and we forgot to create his account over on, the Gig Blast site. I mean, on the Grow My Bag site. So we've got to take care of that. But we also sat back and we said, well, why create an account on the old one when we're about to give big baggers access to the new one? So I was like, all right. Logic, the math is mathin'. I was on the chart all day waiting for the bottom. Then the quick whip. Yep. Mexico came out with news. Oh yeah, everything's kind of on hold. Then he was having the calls with Justin Trudeau. And I'm kind of like, there's not a gap between the United States and Canada, right? There's not a huge gap. And by calling out those three countries that, happen to deal with, or China allows certain components to leave their country, and those components get made into drugs, fentanyl, and then they get pumped into the United States. So Mexico is going to deploy like 10,000 National Guard. I wonder how that's going to work out. We'll see. Northeast Mode, what's going on? I wish Mr. Big was on. My brother and I spoke today, and he actually is going to start working on the syllabus for the charting class. Excuse me. He's trying to figure out if it's going to be one class or a series of classes. Obviously, when it comes to technical analysis, there's a lot to go through. So he's trying to figure that out. Rick Ritchie, I think we have to do the math on that. Tariffs were never a way for the country to make money. Tariffs get levied on this side, not on that side. The only thing it does is it says, well, if I have to pay a tariff to get the goods from that country, I might not get the goods from that country, I might change where I get the goods from. But it hits here. So I don't know about that. Northeast mode, let me tell you something. I'm trying to absorb and learn too. There are a lot of people on here that keep me on my toes, that share information, that have provocative thoughts. And I don't mean provocative like crazy, like, ooh. No, I mean like provocative, thought provoking. And that's what I try to do. That's what I try to figure out, try to learn from those people. I really do, like Rick Ritchie, even 8 Paws. I mean, you know what I find to be funny is that I've met a lot of people in the community that will come out and say, you know, I really don't know a lot. And I'm really just trying to learn. And you know, when you want to know what they come out with? A great question. It means they're thinking. I love that. Some of the questions I get are like, that was a good question. Let me go research that for you and get back to you. Like my mom asks me questions all the time, and I'm like, damn, can a brother catch a break? And she's like, no, you're my son. Do my bidding. That's how she rolls. It's like when she used to ask me to take out the garbage. That was never a question. It was never a real question. Then we've got Ripple minting an additional $1 million of RLUSD as market cap nears 110 million. I think you're going to see RLUSD just keep going like this up the list. I think that's what you're going to wind up seeing. And what bites is there's no way you can make money off of that. The way you make money off of RLUSD is XRP. That's how you make money off of it. Corporate profits. You got jokes. Trump signed an executive order to start a sovereign wealth fund, and one of the things that it's going to be focused on is helping to purchase TikTok. It should happen. Scott Bessent says it's going to happen within 12 months. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting to watch to see if that works. I don't know. I don't know how successful it'll be. I really don't know. But I actually do think it's moving in the right direction. Right? I mean, the government makes some investments and makes money off those investments. Think about how many times the government has bailed out different companies, and all we got back was what we put in. No interest, no nothing. That's all we got back. We charge people getting, those government loans more money than we charged a lot of these multi-billion-dollar companies when we bailed them out. And they had to pay it back. Remember when the car companies needed bailouts? Banks needed bailout. We didn't make money. We didn't actually pull profits on a lot of those deals. A sovereign wealth fund would say, oh no, we're going to invest. We'll invest money in that. And we want this percentage out of it. So depending on the kind of deals that they cut, I could look at that and go, that's an interesting move that I could possibly get behind. I mean, seriously, the sovereign wealth fund is going to invest on our behalf. Look at who else has sovereign wealth funds and how well they're doing. What else happened today? Kraken got a license to handle it in the EU. Not bad. Not bad. Kraken's trying to make some moves. Coinbase acquired an on-chain ad platform called Spindle to boost Web3 adoption. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, Coinbase is making moves to move beyond just exchange services. They've got a playbook and they are firing on all pistons. All pistons. And I'm just sitting back and I'm just saying, wow, that's going to be interesting to watch that play out. It's going to be real interesting to watch that play out. Because I'm sitting back and I'm just going, Coinbase has got it. Everybody else seemed like Kraken. They seemed to, we're just going to expand. Coinbase is like, we're going to expand too, but we're going to branch out. So they're covering breadth and depth. And I go back to, so when the banks come into the market, Coinbase is building a moat around its business. That's a bigger deal than you think. Have you seen commercials for Coinbase Pay? Uh-huh. Coinbase is not playing games. Hutanic, relax, bro. It's only spell check. It's only spell check. We know spell check doesn't like you. It's okay. It's all right. Spell check sent you to the corner. That's what's funny. Before 1913, tax revenue was tariffs and corporate profits was the point. Gold and silver was the only legal tender, so you could not go over budget. Yep. No, you had credit back then. You really did have credit back then. But you had local store credit. Like you had credit at that store, not universal credit that you could use anywhere. Just had to go back. Then research on SWF. What am I missing with that? Because SWF to me might mean something different to other people. So you're going to have to spell that out because I'm not trying to get in trouble. Hello, I'm Amonkwa. I miss anybody? All right. I'm also not seeing a lot of questions. I'm also not seeing a lot of people admit that they did their research. So I'm thinking a few people might not have done their research. I'm not going to assume. Let me know if you've done your research. Paula, I was not going to ask. That was funny. I was so not going to ask. You people all belong in the freaking corner with that kind of conversation. You all belong in the corner. Just be ashamed of yourselves. Like, seriously? Ugh. The nerve of you people. The unmitigated gall. So that's a lot of news. We got through 16 points of news and we didn't really, we touched on tariffs, but what else is there besides tariffs that's going on? I'm wondering about the Treasury. I'm wondering about the Consumer Financial Protection Board that is about to be disbanded. The head fired. He was surprised that it took that long. So go look up what the CFPB actually does and tell me if you're not worried. I'm a little bit worried. Because that's the first step to just letting banks do whatever the heck they want to do. Just saying, I have a little bit more than just a little bit of apprehension. Just a little bit more than just a little bit of apprehension. Just saying. We've got 13 votes. Do you think the tariff announcements were worth it? Yes, 31%. No, 46%. Other, 23%. Interesting. If you don't do your research, you're only hurting yourself. Go do it. Wow. Paula speaks truth. The first investment that you're making when you do your own research is in yourself. How do you not want to do that? I'm not seeing anybody on Instagram say they did their research. I'm not seeing anybody. I saw a few people over here that haven't said that they've done their research, but there are a couple of people here that I know did their research. Frankly, I know Hutanic doesn't know how not to do his own research. Michael McCaskill, same thing. You did your research, didn't you? Rick Ritchie, I don't even have to question that. But yeah, I want you guys to drop a note. Let me know if you actually did your own research. And when I'm looking at the future, India tightening crypto rules, but still rethinking their policy, people kind of shrug that off as, well, that's India and it's not a big deal. Right? They kind of just shrug that off. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, do you know how many people live in India? Imagine if India woke up and they just woke up and said, yeah, you know what? We're down with the crypto thing. That is a really big deal. A really big deal. Imagine them making it easier for people to actually obtain crypto, not have to go through all kinds of trials and tribulations to go get it. VPN this, VPN that. I'm telling you, it's bigger than you think. It's a bigger deal than you think. I keep telling people, you've got to look at things on a global scale. Nothing is standalone. Well, almost nothing is standalone. Everything's got connections to everything else. What's going on, Rookster? So yeah, when I look at everything, I kind of sit there and say to myself, why aren't we paying attention to global events? Russia is putting together a registration service for Bitcoin mining rigs. Isn't that interesting? I'm telling you, we need it. News from around the world will affect here. News from here, actions from here will affect the rest of the world. And all of that affects our bags. All things we got to pay attention to. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to protect my bag. I really am. This week, I'm thinking is going to be a tumultuous week. Jim DeMille, what's going on? It's going to be a tumultuous week. Do we really think that we're going to recover this week? I don't know that we're going to recover this week. I think maybe we'll recover next week. Right? I think that's when we'll start to recover, is next week. This week, maybe. Most likely not, is what I'm thinking. Let's see. Bitcoin is at 101 right now. Ethereum is still under 3,000, healthily below 3,000, by the way. Healthily below 3,000. However, Ethereum has a GMB X factor of only 0.71. I think that's what, cracks me up the most. That's more than just a little bit interesting to me. Might not be interesting to you, but it's interesting to me that Ethereum has a 0.71 GMB X factor. Wow. That says that for me, that tells me I have confidence that Ethereum is definitely going to surpass its all-time high during this weird cycle, is what I would say. The first of many weird cycles. Ethereum is XRP is only a GMB X factor of 0.25. What did I buy today? I bought XRP and Cardano. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to make money. That's literally, looking at the price right now, I could still buy more XRP. I could buy more Cardano and be quite happy about it. Be amazingly happy about it. Chainlink, I could still buy more Chainlink and be happy. What was it just earlier today? It was at what, $17, 17 and change. Oof. Beautiful thing. And it's still at a good place to buy it, in my humble opinion. That's what I'm thinking. Avalanche, still way off. Sui. Liking Sui. And by the way, the distance between, wow, it's not a lot. I cover from 8 billion, I cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From 8 billion to almost 12 billion, I cover 7 different coins. That's how tight it is. That's how tight it is. I mean, skip wrapped ETH, right? You go to Avalanche, Stellar, Sui, Hedera, Toncoin, Shiba Inu, Leo token is up here now. What? Then you've got Hyperliquid, Litecoin. Those are all coins that between 8 billion and 12 billion dollars. It's that tight. It's this tight. It's insane. The motivational misfit. Hold it. Plan B is talking about 300K BTC. What time frame? You gotta give me another piece of information before I can say yes or no. Motivational misfit bought some SUI today. Yeah, that's not a bad move. That's not a bad, that 361. Oh my lord, that's not a bad move. Holy moly. Yeah. Hell, I might go do some myself. I was wondering if you jumped out because it hit your 15% strategy and then bought back in when the dust settled. It was the 10 to 20% strategy. It's really 20%. My research told me I don't think it was going to drop enough, but what I did do is I dipped into dry powder. I sprinkled some dry powder in and I just stayed because I didn't pull the trigger. If I wanted to pull the trigger, I would have had to pull the trigger when it was at 105, when Bitcoin was at 105 and everybody was a little bit up. That's when I would have had to do it. But I'm lazy, so I didn't. I didn't think there was going to be that much upside. But I was able to buy back in and add to those bags, decrease my out number, right? Because I had the money sitting on the side. Those are the two primary strategies I have. If I think it's going to drop too much, that's what I'm going to do. And we had a little bit of fair warning with the tariffs. I just didn't think it was going to hit like that. But it did. But then it also came back. I mean, nothing is all the way back. Right now, the only thing that's partially back is Bitcoin. Everybody else is still hurting. Everybody else bled the heck out. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, that's okay. I'm all right with that. Saw my blood in the streets and I was kind of like, yeah, that's all right. I can make some more money. I can get in and make some more money. His latest video, that means everything will be much higher too. I must have missed something. Oh, and in Plan B's latest video. Yeah, but what's the time frame? You still haven't answered that question. What's the time frame that he's talking? Tariffs are negotiation tools, yes. But nobody was expecting the hit, a hit like that today. I agree with you. They've always meant to be, negotiation tools. And if you were in the know and you knew it was coming, right? I mean, all three countries were tied together. So there's a reason why you went after those three countries rather. Groundhog said 6 or more weeks of green candles. Stop it. You should go to the corner for that. You and your freaking jokes. It was funny though. Can't type that. I don't need a synopsis. I need when he expects that to be 300. Is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it 6 months from now? A year from now? 2 years from now? See what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for that piece of information to see, well, if he says 3 years from now, if he said a year from now, like this time next year, I'd be like, oh, well, that's an interesting conversation. Because it's higher than the number that I could think of, that I could justify, rather. That would be a good one. But if that's it, come on. I need a date. When? Tell me when. That's what we're all looking for. This cycle. When is this cycle? That's a broad thing. Are we talking 2 years? A year? 3 years? What are we talking here? Can't be cryptic. People need to learn how to figure that out, and they're only going to learn how they figure it out if you teach them how to fish. Hutanik is a walking numbers guy, so for him, just things like just click. again, you're being, no, I'm not even going to play this game anymore. So, yeah, I'm looking at things and I'm just like, you kind of have to look at things in terms of, I don't know that the reason why I'm getting heated is because I'm not looking at this cycle like other cycles before. I don't know that I can. Yes, there will always be a halving and it'll always happen at the same time, at the same interval. But that cycle timing is different now. I think it's slightly different now. No, the previous 3 cycles, you could actually say it was this long. It was approximately this long. It's just this cycle, I can't do that now. I can't look at the previous 3 cycles and go, oh yeah, this cycle is going to be the same way. I can't do that. And the reason why I can't do that is because we've never had, I mean, you're talking about a state that's this close to having a Bitcoin reserve. And the only thing that it's going to do to other states is make them wish that they could have one. And they'll be cracking the whip to make everybody move faster. That's what makes me go, I don't know. So in a way, Hutanik, you're right. We only know until after we go through it. I'm sitting back and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. But the number one thing for me, and I know for other people, it's various things, but for me, it's the use of coins now. It's the use that I'm looking for. No, unless you're giving me numbers, I don't care. If the stock market had a bull run for 12 years and 4 months, crypto could have a similar run. Could. Not discounting it. Could. But you see what I mean? There are a lot of things that could happen. But with crypto being looked at as being used in everyday life, being used, that's going to be a big difference. And you wonder, like, does the increased use kind of smooth out the volatility going from this to going like this to going, you know what I mean? I have those kinds of questions. So I'm just like, oh, that's hard to put a finger on. Hutanik's right. It's hard to put a finger on. It really, really is. I was driving them to try to give me a number, right? Like Plan B says, oh, it's going to happen, this cycle. All right, Plan B, what is the definition of your chartist? What is the definition of this cycle? Are you saying, well, I'm still looking at this cycle as the 4-year thing? Okay, well, when the good times end, when do the good times end, and when do the bad times start? So what part of the cycle? He should have been able to say, oh, at this time, I'm expecting it to be about there. So about this time, I'm looking for it like that. That's why I was asking. I see AI being a .com bubble. It will get too much liquidity. Why do people keep using that word liquidity? Can't we just say money? It'll get too much liquidity. All right. So looking at AI from a technologist perspective, I think the money, I don't know that it's going to be a bubble. I think that bubble got popped the other day when DeepSeek came out, and it got popped again when QN came out. Now, that said, I think the money for AI is going to still flow into AI, but I think it's going to take a step back with regard to how much money. I think there's going to be a greater amount of money to companies and people that know how to leverage AI, right? So yeah, you created the AI, but if it's open source, I don't have to put money into that too much. I have to put money into DPINs, right? Infrastructure, but I don't really have to put money into you, into that team, because they released. So a little bit of money will go there, as was demonstrated, and more money will go into companies that actually know how to use AI. I told you guys the other day, Microsoft is going to take a hit. How? Well, $30 a month on top of Microsoft Office, your Microsoft Office payment is too much money. My team could build a button that will open up a screen and open up any LLM that you've already subscribed to for far less money. Now, if you have a server that's already running on your local stuff, your people, your staff would open up your local or internally hosted LLM. Say what now? Yeah, that's free. You pay somebody to build the button that opens up the window and boom, 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 you're done. It doesn't take that much to click that button. I've done it before. And I haven't written code in eons. So Microsoft's $30 a month is going to have to be a rethink, and they've already started rethinking it. Some people are getting Copilot for free. Except I don't use Copilot. I don't use Copilot. I use my own desktop now as an LLM. I'm running DeepSeek. I'm running QN depending on what I need and how fast I want it to move. I take a choice as to which one I want to use. Boom. Now, if QN put in the whole thing where it started telling you how it was thinking so you could better communicate with it, that's how you learn how to better communicate with an LLM. You want to know who did that? ChatGPT. OpenAI did that with ChatGPT. Interesting. AI have seen AI winters before lack of expectation. I'm not following that sentence. I'm sorry, Rick Ritchie. I'm not following that sentence. You're going to have to help me out with that one. But my point is that AI's liquidity is going to start shifting from the companies that are creating AI to the companies that are better leveraging AI. So me and my crew, we're using AI to help us write code. We've got a lot of community members that are doing that. So that's something that we're looking for. Companies that are better leveraging AI and upskilling their current staff are going to do better. They're going to do better. And that's where a lot of money is going to go. Right? It's not necessarily going to be in, I saw a video earlier, and it was AI is probably going to, in terms of development, AI is probably going to replace junior developers. Right? So the junior developers that you have learn AI, they become more productive even though they're junior, but you don't need to hire more juniors, and you're not going to replace seniors. So to saying that there are limitations to AI, and there are limitations to how people can implement AI. Like, there are only a few of us that really know how to look at how your company runs to be able to say, here are a couple of ideas on how to leverage AI. Here's the implementation strategy. Here's this, here's that. Lack of expectation has given AI winters before. I don't know that I agree with that. I'm talking about modern AI, and frankly, when ChatGPT came out, that really wasn't AI. When DeepSeek came out, you're starting to see, oh wow, you can actually see it reasoning. And that helps you figure out, oh, I should have said this. I meant this. And you can see how you can now communicate, and you can see its thought process. Reasoning is a very big deal when it comes to AI, but I don't understand what that means, Rick Ritchie. I'm missing something. It's probably over my head, so I apologize. What happens when AI figures out they could use a human brain to go quantum? You mean when does a human figure out how to make AI use a brain to go quantum? They're already doing that. They're already taking cells, not even necessarily brain cells, but they're already taking cells and having cells do stuff. We're doing some crazy things. We're doing some really crazy things. Everybody was laughing at Terminator. Oh, that's never going to happen. I'm sitting back and I'm going, oh, well, hey, Terminator can happen. You ever watch that movie I, Robot with Will Smith? That could happen. Read the book. that could happen. Was it Asimov wrote that or something like that? The other way around. You're not writing in full sentences. I don't know what you mean by the other way around. Need full sentences, bud. So, unless you mean AI thinks about how to use cells to do it. Somebody had to tell AI to think about it. AI doesn't have its own conscience yet. Yet. Notice how I said yet. So it would be a human being telling it, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem, until we get to a solution. And now you've got brain cells that are doing quantum everything. And then where does AI go from there? Consciousness. They say a human brain has quantum abilities, so AI could use us like the Matrix. No. I think it would possible. Let me rephrase. Possible. But here's something that really mess with your head. Why not just create a synthetic brain? See what I mean? The reason why I walk down these little rabbit holes is to change how you're thinking. It's to make you stop and think about different things and then turn around and go, how does that happen? What technologies have to happen to make that happen? Somebody was talking about building a train that would go from the UK to New York in less than an hour, going underwater. And I'm like, how does that happen? Solving mathematics like that. Oh, dude, slippery slope indeed. Hutanik, you remember I own a technology company, right? Like, this is what we do. This is the kind of stuff we noodle on all the time. All the time. It's just that for these shows, I try to dial it down a little bit and try to talk about how would that affect your investment strategy. Upstate Planet, what's good? Herman Penny, how you doing? Nick, what's good? So yeah, you start to think about all these different things. You know what? Forget about AI trying to take over. Forget about that part. For people that like that kind of stuff, watch Ex Machina. Great movie with Oscar Isaac. Great, like, outstanding movie. But forget about the bad stuff. What kind of good problems can we solve? How to bring water to deserts? How to control our climate? How to grow food in different climates, no matter what the food is? Bring quality education to the world and not hold back. How do you do that? Solve those. I remember you not liking AI. No, I didn't like ChatGPT. I didn't like the fact that people were calling it AI. It wasn't. It's a stochastic, algorithm. It's not really. We're closer to AI now, but we still don't have it. It's not quite there. That's the truth. So it's not like I didn't like AI. My company has been using AI for years. Lots of companies have been using AI for years. So just saying. It's not that I didn't like it. I didn't like how people were talking about it, thinking about it. Will you consider AI doing your audiobooks? Sure. Not using my voice. That ought to give you a hint. An AI winter, thank you, Rick Ritchie, for coming back to me. An AI winter is a period of reduced funding and interest in AI research. These periods are characterized by high expectations that are not met by the current state of AI technology. Herman Penny, no. Rick Ritchie, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know how they can coin that term when you didn't have AI. You were never that close. Closer now than you ever were. And even now, we don't really have AI. We're getting closer to the whole reasoning thing. Like OpenAI has had that. They didn't release it. DeepSeek came along. Herman, this is for you. DeepSeek came along and said, we can do this distilling thing that'll get you there faster, give you better quality, give you better this. So they could focus on reasoning and not necessarily learning, right? And that's what made it powerful. Now, if you look at QWen, QWen is no joke. Like, damn. I was on the other day. I told you guys I set my mother up over the weekend with AI, right? And we were sitting there playing with it. First, we tried asking DeepSeek a question, and then we asked the same questions over on QWen. And she was like, wow, QWen was mad fast, running on her cheap, cheesy little laptop. Because, you know, if your laptop's over a year old, it's cheap and cheesy. My laptop is cheap and cheesy. And it was smoking fast on a laptop that's, both of our laptops are old. Mine is only slightly newer than hers. We used to have twin laptops, and she's running it no problem. No problem. And I'm like, damn. Actually, hers might be faster than mine. She's got more gigs of VRAM. So I'm a little jealous. But we were sitting there playing with AI. Imagine mother and son, look at the color of my hair, bonding over AI. And my mother was already thinking about how she could use it for her business, all that kind of stuff. Running locally on her machine, how she could use it. That's a dangerous lady right there. That's a dangerous lady. Love my mom. So Herman, you know, when I look at AI, do I think DeepSeek is the best? No. Do I think it's better than what's currently on the market? DeepSeek and QWen are both better, in my humble opinion, both better than ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is supposedly, arguably, the best. I think they both serve different purposes, and I think you could use them, you know, in different ways. Just saying. Pandora takes you down a road on good intentions. Not quite sure what you mean by that. But I think that my thoughts on long-term stuff, I'm going to be deeply focused on infrastructure. Not just decentralized infrastructure networks. I mean infrastructure. So look at it like this. Back in the day, your house was responsible for powering itself. Your factory was responsible for powering itself. And then they moved to this grid, and then companies took over those responsibilities. See where I'm going? So your home with its own power supply, QWEN, QWen is how it's pronounced, QWEN. Go do some research on that one. It's no joke. So infrastructure is going to be a big deal. AI, Web3, automation, all of that is going to be a very big deal. A ridiculously big deal. Like, homes of the future are going to have their own power supplies. Think I'm playing. I'm not. Absolutely not playing. So I look at that and I just kind of go, huh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So when I'm looking at so when you look at this whole conversation we're having, you're like, oh, he just went on this whole, technology tangent. Exactly. It's all about growing our bag, and crypto is not the only way to grow your bag. I'm looking at crypto. I'm looking at stocks, bonds, options, investing in businesses, starting new businesses. One of my brothers was thinking about starting a pasta company, and I was like, oh, you should get these, automated bowl things, and it just sits there and spins and creates your bowl for you, and you just dump it out into a tray and bring it on out. There are different businesses out there where you could make good money. Where does AI fit into the Internet of Things? Good question. Everything's connected to the internet is basically the internet of things, right? It can go get you additional information about, I've got this oven thingy, and it'll go out, get me recipes that I'm interested in, and I'll select from the recipes, and it'll tell me what I need, and I put it in there, boop, boop, boop. It does the whole, Rosie robot thing and makes my food. Awesome, right? Now think about AI knowing what you have in your kitchen and being able to tell you, hey, you could have this for dinner, it'll take this long. You can have this for dinner, it'll take that long. You can have this for dinner, it'll take that long. Have you thought about merging this and doing that and da 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 da? And if you leave now, you can catch a sale over here and do it's think about it as having Jarvis in your house and having that connected to everything that's connected to the internet and being able to tell you everything you need to know about your home. You got about 6 more times to use that light bulb. You should probably order some more. I already took care of that for you. Anything else? You're talking about some really crazy stuff that you'd be able to do. The power station at the source makes sense versus being taxed to update 19th century tech. Here's to you, Hutanic. That right there. That right there. That's a big deal. I need power. How much power do I need? I suck it in from a private network. Remember the long conversation I had the other day about how if you want to transfer money, you've got to use somebody's private network, and how blockchain represents a public network? That's what I meant. So now you're looking at electricity, phones, going over private networks, and you're paying for the use of those private networks. Now think about a decentralized kind of system. Everything's a little bit more public now, isn't it? Everything becomes a lot cheaper now, doesn't it? Just saying. Just saying. I'm not repeating that last one if you thought I was going to repeat that last one, Hutanic. I read it. Read it first this time. Yo, Coach Kevin, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a minute. I should put you in the corner for not showing up lately. Did you do your research, young man? I need to know if you did your research. So yeah, when you're looking at these things, I'm looking at infrastructure. I'm looking at things that are related to infrastructure. I'm looking at things that are related to usage. I'm looking at things that will make people's lives easier without stealing their data, without forcing them to do things that you get the good with the bad. No, why can't we just get the good? This is what I'm talking about. I'm looking at things like that. When I look longer term, that's what I'm looking for. So when we talk about liquidity, that's where my liquidity is going. I always talk to you guys about, connective tissue, things that are dependent upon by other things that are doing things. That's where my head is at. For right now, that's where my head is at. Remember how I told you guys I want you to think about what you expect out of a bank? We should be asking that thing about everything that's out there. What do I expect from a phone? What else could I possibly need out of a phone? My son's got the newest phone in the house, and he's two grades higher than me. I used to have the baddest ass phone in the house. I don't anymore. Because what else do I need out of a phone? Me personally, when am I not near a regular sized computer? Because yes, this is a computer. I've written code on this. I've done a lot of stuff with it. However, what am I expecting out of it? I need to make a phone call. I need to check some mail or something like that. This is really simple stuff. There's nothing crazy about it. But if I can start to think about how people are going to compute, meaning how are they going to leverage technology? That's what I'm looking for. How easy can I make it? How easy can I make it? Can each house, because of AI, have its own Jarvis? Can I lock down a house so that it is its own Jarvis? And only one thing goes out to the internet and comes back with all the information that everything needs. So I can lock down my home. Just saying, these are things that I think about. Maybe we'll talk about it next Saturday. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. Yes, Paula, I know. If you do like what I'm doing, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Tell your friends about us. Tell them to go to growmybag.tv/sign-up. You can either become a bagger at $12 a year or a big bagger at $120 a year. And there's a lot of stuff that you get being a big bagger. What's going on, Ali boy? There's a lot of stuff you get. And I'm telling you now, as soon as we launch the site, there are going to be drastic changes. Everything will still stream where it's streaming now. But the difference will be I'm only going to be looking at the conversation on Grow My Bag so that everybody can see what everybody's talking. Right now, I've got to repeat questions because everybody's all over the place. I got people over here, people over here, people over here. I can't do it all. So all the conversations are going to happen over there. So you get to join a community, have access to a whole bunch of news articles and research. That's over 7,000 articles, including videos. 7,000 for $12 a year. 120 and you get way more. Ask a big bagger, you get way more with that 120. Need a t-shirt that says, I'd rather be on a desktop. I hate you right now. Where's patient one? You're in the corner for that one. Because you and I both know what we're thinking. We're bad boys. We're really bad boys. Hey from Tejas. I totally forgot. You had said that before. Wow. We've got people. We've got a global audience, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, smash the likes, tell your friends about us. Go to growmybag.tv/sign-up and become a member. Tonight's question, do you think the tariff announcements were worth it? Yes, 45%. No, 32%. Other, 23%. 22 votes. Wow. Wow. Just saying. I'd rather be on... Coach Kevin, I would never have expected that from you. You are now in the corner officially. That was unexpected. That was awesome. Ali boy, my brother in Tokyo. Everybody, enjoy your evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, number one, thank you for your trust. Have a great night.